What it do, what it do, what it do, young cuz? It's your man Bun Squeaks holding it down for the SIS until I DIE. You know what time it is. You know we got that heat for you. We got that heat one more again. Because it's that time of year, my G. It's that time. No, my G, it ain't that time of year. It ain't Shark Week, my G. No, G, this ain't Shark Week. This spooky season, cuz. We about to get real frightful up in here. Real scary up in here, cuz. What's up, players? Once again, thank you for joining your boy for another edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions right here on YouTube. And we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do something a little different from the norm. You know, it's Halloween season. It's the scariest time of year. So I said, how about we do something different, players? We look back at the most frightful albums of 2022. And don't get it twisted. When I say frightful, when I say scary, when I say horrific, I don't mean like the old genre of horrorcore. I don't mean Kool Keith or Eminem acting like serial killers. Or that song called Serial Killer from Meth and Red. Y'all remember that one? No. I mean albums that are so bad, so horrible, so spine-tinglingly garbage that they keep you up at night. So put it like this. If we were comparing albums to the Halloween franchise, we aren't talking about the albums that are like the first Halloween movie, the good ones. We're talking about albums that are like the most recent Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, the bad ones. We're looking at all that whackness today. But before we get started, you know how it goes. Go down, hit that like button, hit that spooky subscribe button, hit that scary share when we get going, and show your boy some love. It always motivates me to create more videos when our current ones get traction. And we gotta spread the message. We gotta get the truth out to the children. That's very important. Alright, so let's get it. The albums of 2022 that made all of us pray for some divine intervention. Oh, and hey, look, first up on the list is everybody's favorite grifter, Kanye West, with Donda 2. Now, I'm sure some of you might be like, there was a Donda 2? Absolutely. You've just been so distracted by his current run of offending every race, every gender, every religious group, even his own, that you probably forgot that earlier this year he released a Steam player with a free album on it. So let me set the stage. When the Steam player came out, it was the predecessor of Donda 2. Not quite Donda 2, but sort of Donda 2, the sequel to the album from a year or so ago that got a little bit of praise from some sad people. Album's not that great, y'all. Donda 2 is even worse. This album is the equivalent of you have finished writing your research paper, turn it into your teacher, and then you make the teacher pay you for writing half the paper and for her to finish it. So Donda 2's stream player deal is basically a bunch of unfinished songs, unfinished beats, rough garbage in a sea of auto-tune that fans are expected to kind of put up and create themselves. This is your chance to create the Kanye album of your dreams because he didn't bother finish doing it for you. What a mess. And with these half-baked beats and just ridiculousness, of course it's being pushed to the fan base, some kind of brilliant advancement of music. Look, player, I'm sorry, this is not revolutionary. This is a scam. Call it what it is. You got a bunch of beats from an artist who would rather be Steve Jobs than a music producer, and it ain't working out. This is an embarrassment of an album. I'm sure there are many people who thought it was brilliant. Lots of people think that black jelly beans taste good too. I don't trust them either. This album, just like most of Kanye's recent antics, needs to be flushed. Coming in next, DJ Khaled, God Did. Look, Khaled, don't put God in this. This was all you. Don't put God in this mess. DJ Khaled's albums, y'all, have become the equivalent of horror movie franchises. You know, the ones that have like 18 movies in the series, but only one of them are good. That's a Khaled album for you. He cranks these things out every year, loads them up with guest stars who are totally uninterested in being there. What a mess. They are phoning this thing in harder than AT&T, and it drives me crazy. This album does not change that norm, and I know that the thing that has gotten the most love is the Jay-Z verse from the title track God Did, but I mean, come on, y'all. That's like finding one piece of candy in the bucket that didn't have the razor blade in it. You still got to go through the rest and probably kill yourself in the process. Once again, it's another album that's so boring, so lazy. Despite A-list talent on it, nobody cares. If they don't care, why would we care? It's just another cash-in from an artist that continues to lower our expectations. If we're going to do something, do it right. But I know y'all just like money, so Horror-ble. I gotta talk about this album. Coming in next, Drake's Honestly Nevermind. If ever an album title should be heeded, it should have been this. But let me give y'all a little old man history here to kind of tie things together. A few days ago, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of Nas's The Firm album. And let me set the stage for the youngins who don't quite remember. The Firm was one of the most celebrated supergroups of the time. You had Nas, of course, even back in '97, considered to be one of the greatest ever. You had AZ, one of the most underrated lyricists ever. You had Foxy Brown, who was quite possibly one of the hottest mainstream rappers at the time. You had Nature, who was replacing Cormega. That's a whole other story. Nature was a great underground MC. He could do his thing. Then it was executive produced by Dr. Dre, who also we knew to be this legendary figure. You put all of this together, you just knew that there was going to be a classic in the making. There was no way this thing wasn't going to be great. Guess what? It was not great. And Nas fans, like me, we were very vocal about saying, Nas, this ain't it. Fast forward to 2022. If this album or a collective of artists of that group came out with an album today, no matter how bad it is, we would have to sit through so many excuses, so much drama. Oh, you ain't listening right. Oh, you not giving it a chance. Oh, you listen to it too fast. Oh, you listen to it too slow. There's this weird perception where we can't hold artists to a higher esteem. Doesn't mean you're not a good fan. It means you demand more from artists. That, my friends, is the story of Drake for the past 10 years. He's like Kanye at this point. One hot album every 10-year average. And that's so lame. Listen, you don't have to tie yourself in knots, y'all, to convince yourself that an album is not good. And on that subject, we're here to talk about Honestly Nevermind. Someone must have put a bug in the player's ear and heard that Beyonce was planning to take over the summer by dropping an album filled with house music. So you know what he tried to do? So Drake could see himself as the one setting the standard, drop his own house music album. If that's what you call what we heard. It is the most boring, lifeless music I have ever heard. It sounds like the music they would play at the dentist's office on Resident Evil. I mean, if you're turning up to this, a house album is supposed to get you hyped, get you turned up. You're turning up to this, you're just as lifeless and brainless as a Resident Evil zombie. There is nothing hot about this sloppy album, y'all. I mean, look at the album cover. The album cover. It looks like freeze-dried vomit. You didn't even try. I know y'all love these artists, and I know they have a special place in your heart. But it does not make you a bad fan if you say, you know what? This album ain't hitting. And boy, this one ain't hitting. What an atrocity. And good news! He and 21 Savage have another album dropping. On my birthday, in fact. Yay. And finally, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I listen to hundreds of albums every year. Hundreds. And the album we are about to discuss is one of the worst I have heard in at least 10 years. Nick Cannon's The Explicit Tape, Raw and B. Yes, that's the title. Put a guy who's best known at best in the music industry as a C minus. I won't even give you a C plus. A C minus rapper. Throw him on a bunch of trap beats that came straight out of the assembly line and the most lazy samples you will ever hear, and that's the album that you have before us with the grossest, unsexiest lyrics you have ever heard. It is like listening to two possums have sex to a trap beat. Who thought this was a good idea? This album is not just so bad in itself, it actively makes you mad because you're hearing classic songs from Next and Usher and SOS Band being absolutely trampled by this dude. What is this? What is this? If we gotta keep Nick out of the studio by letting him have an army of babies that he keeps producing, let him do that. Let the ladies have him. He can create his own tribe. Just keep him out of the studio. I have never heard a more lazy, just creepily gross album. I would rather go in the mirror and say Candyman 5 times than to listen to 5 more seconds of Nick trying to be Mr. Sexy Man over some R&B beats from the 90s and doing it in the grossest way possible. The man sounds like a used condom. Oh, I gotta watch myself to talk about it. It is by far the worst album of 2022. And it makes me question my humanity. My God. Do not watch, do not listen, do not touch this album. I know some of you will be like, I gotta check this album out. It can't be as bad as he says. Yeah, it is. Don't listen. Don't do it. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it. Save yourselves. I made it through it. D Roth, I didn't think I was going to make it. I made it through it. That is 4 of the most trauma-inducing albums of 2022. Stay far away, people. Stay far away. If you got some terrible albums that you want to share too, share them in the comments below. If you want to defend one of those 4 albums I talked about, go ahead and do it. I'm just going to laugh at you. Just do it. We can have fun in the comments. But be warned, my wrath will be heavy. This edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions is a wrap. I'm out of here because this is, no. Play on, players.